Call the roll.
Mr. Long? Mr. Matheson?
Here.
Mr. Payne?
Here.
Ms. Reese?
Here.
Mr. Carlton?
Here.
Mr. Peak?
Here.
And if we could, I'd ask Mr. Peak to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I apologize, I forgot our moment of silence. All right, do we have any visitors or delegations? Everybody looks pretty normal in here. All right, consent agenda. Is there anything on the consent agenda that we would like to pull off? And if not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion we approve the consent agenda.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Payne,
I'll second.
and we have a second by Ms. Reese. Any other discussion? You will call the roll, please.
Mr. Matheson?
Yes.
Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Ms. Reese?
Yes.
Mr. Carlton?
Yes. All right, we've got a report by our student board member, Matthew Peak.
All right, for the month of December, for Saturday evening or morning, we got 60 juniors and seniors taking the ACT. Seniors are currently actively filling out their FAFSA to remain eligible for the TN Promise. The annual Ugly Christmas Sweater Day at the high school is Wednesday, December 15th. There'll be prizes for students and faculty. FFA, which is Mr. Boyd, he had a huge success for this week for their fruit sale. They're planning to do it next year. FFA, NTHS, and NHS is hosting and supporting Santa's Helping Hands. FCA is going to help with Operation Christmas Child at Samaritan's Purse after school on next Monday. The Lady Longhorns basketball will travel tonight to Holston to play. The junior varsity plays at 6 p.m. and the varsity plays at 7:30 p.m. The Longhorns basketball will host Cloudland at home tomorrow night starting at 4 o'clock. Both junior varsity and varsity teams will play. HOSA hosted the March Blood Drive on Tuesday, November 30th. They registered 138 donors. That has the potential to save approximately 828 infants and 414 adults. Chef Heath and the culinary students have the culinary food truck set up at the gravel parking lot at Farmers State Bank every Thursday and Friday from 11:30 to 12:30. So please, I want everybody to go there. Tomorrow will be the last day, and they'll be serving lunch until January. So please go out and support them. And that's it.
That's amazing. A lot of activity up at the high school, especially impressive on the blood donations. Okay, next item is our 5-year plan update.
Yes, this is just part of our 5-year plan that all technology inventory will be updated and maintained using TIP Web IT. All current and new equipment will be logged and coordinated with the replacement plan, and they have been working on that, and the majority of that has been done. So just wanted to make y'all aware of that.
All right, next item is our second and final reading on the TSBA recommended changes on the following policies. The first one is facilities planning, which is 3.208. The next one is class size ratios, which is 4.201. The next one is parent-family involvement, which is 4.502. And the last one is religion and curriculum, which is 4.804. Dr. Simcox, if you could explain that.
Yes, and these are all TSBA recommended changes on 3.208 facility planning. We have to change our survey conditions from every 12 months to 6 months to align with the federal requirements. On 4.201 class size ratios, this is a new policy that's required by TSBA, stating that class sizes shall not exceed the averages allowed by state law. 4.502, which is parent/family involvement, they updated this policy to take out the TCSPP process, which is the old school improvement process that was a parent involvement piece that has probably not happened in 8 years, and it's now done through E-Plan and through school improvement plan. And then 4.804 religion and curriculum, they updated the entire policy based on changes required by TCA, which is Tennessee Code Annotated, that we have to follow.
Okay. Do we have any questions of Dr. Simcox?
I move we approve those policies.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Payne. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Ms. Reese is seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, if you will, call the roll, please.
Mr. Matheson,
Yes.
Mr. Payne,
Yes.
Ms. Reese,
Yes.
Mr. Carlton.
Yes. The next item is the first reading of Johnson County Board of Education Policy Committee. They've recommended a change in 4.600, and that's the grading system.
Yes, if you look at our policies under grading system and under testing programs, there's sections in both that talk about TN ready and the requirements that we have to be, but it needs to just be under the testing programs. So it's in two different sections of the policy. We're just wanting to make it just to where it's easy to find and in one.
So it doesn't change the
No,
grading
it
system
doesn't change
at
the
all?
grading system at all. It's just taking it out of grading system, which it really doesn't need to be in.
Okay. All right, that's the first reading. Anybody have any questions? Next item, COVID update.
Wendy is not here today. Her daughter's playing basketball, so of course I told her to go to her child's game. But just an update, you know, our numbers have been looking fairly well. We are not quarantining. If they're being quarantined, it's mainly because they're a household contact, and that's coming from the health department, not from us. I have asked Lori to sort of give you all an update on the Head Start, though, the federal requirements under Biden's law that, you know, we do have Head Start and they are federally funded. So when these requirements, if and when they take place, will impact our Head Start program. So I asked her just to give you all an update of what we know right now, which is not a lot because it seems to change daily, just like with COVID.
It is changing daily. We were notified on November 29th that as of November 30th, our students and staff was supposed to start wearing masks. So I have sent emails to every Head Start person I know higher up than me and asked them how we can force them to wear a mask if our board says no, plus the governor says no. So we still haven't got any feedback from anyone to let us know what to do. There's going to be another call tomorrow that they're going to talk about, they're going to answer questions, so I have sent in the questions to them multiple times, so hopefully they'll answer that tomorrow. We had a director's call today from some of the directors in Tennessee, and one lady said that her board, and not a school board, it's a Head Start Policy Committee board, had voted that they couldn't make them wear masks nor make them take vaccines. But I don't think we're going to get out of the vaccines as of right now, because Head Start's the only one that's not changed their mind since it began. And as of right now, 65% of my staff have been vaccinated, and 14% of them have the first shot. And then I have a couple of employees that can't get the first shot until they're 90 days COVID free, because 2 of them were positive in the past. So that's all we know right now.
We did receive guidance as the state of Tennessee from Chuck Cagle, who represents TALS, to say, you know, as far as the mask requirement for Head Start, we do not follow that right now, unless some other guidance comes down from the federal.
We seem to be doing well without the quarantines. Now, we don't get the quarantine numbers anymore.
Yeah.
Do you have a prediction of how many kids are out saying they're being quarantined?
That's still on the dashboard, but it's very small, and it's because it's from the health department and it's a family contact. I would maybe 10, 15, and
And the number of COVID cases today was what? Was it
two positive, and I think we're at 17. I think is what it was.
So our numbers seem to be staying
Yeah.
lower than they were before.
Yes, and no staff.
So do we know whether or not, I mean, the health department, if they were going to put something out, it seems like they would have put something out.
I would think we've already received something, and we have not received anything.
Is there anything that has been organized from boards of education to encourage them not to put out a quarantine?
Not that I'm aware of.
You might want to, if you have a director's meeting or something,
I have one next Wednesday.
see what the pleasure of the boards is, because,
Oh, that's-
I mean, it seems to be working extremely well without it.
Yeah.
And I know that's been a point of contention, seems like for the last year, for everybody, just about. and without masks, right?
Yes, without masks.
So we're doing extremely well, and I would also credit that partially to the principals and the staff and the bus drivers and all y'all for making sure your schools are clean and proper procedures are being taken, so good job. All right, budget update, Ms. Lipford.
So you have your packet in front of you with the budget report. The expenditures for the month of November for general purpose were $1,471,679.54. $186,163.76 for federal budget, for federal projects, $92,891.66 for central cafeteria, $59,397.27 for Head Start. And the majority of these expenditures were salaries and benefits. And if you all flip over to your second page of the packet, it's some good news. I remember a couple months ago when the gentleman approached you all requesting permission to put the signs or the advertisements on the sides of the buses. The first payment actually came in this week, and I highlighted that for you in pink. And then if you look on down, they're scheduled to send a check each month, and then that's the total that they expect to send before next November.
That's a little small. What is that total?
The total that was received this month as a check was $3,162.50. The other ones will not be in that amount, and the total they're expected is $10,381.25.
For the year?
Mhm.
Okay.
And then also at the top, you'll see, also very small, are the clients. And so there's not a large number of clients yet that have selected to advertise on the bus, but still, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good amount of revenue. And what we did is we put that into the account, just as you all had said, for transportation equipment. So when the check came, it went straight in, and it's being amended into that account. So.
Need 2 or 3 more signs on buses, don't we?
That's
And
what
they
I
are
think.
working on that, so, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you heard anybody complain?
No, I have not.
I haven't.
All right.
It's a good revenue source.
Yeah.
And sales tax?
Oh, sales tax also is on there. Sales tax collections received in November for the month of October were $220,499. Collections were up $36,028 from the same month in the prior year. We do not yet have all the revenue from the trustee for November, so I do not have property tax.
All right. So sales tax is doing extremely well. Okey-doke. Any questions of Tina? All right. Director's report?
Yes, we did receive our information from U-Trust on the grant. We received $26,100. That is an increase of almost $3,000 from last year, and, you know, that's where we see the savings with workman's comp and with, you know, employees' benefits, so very excited about that.
And where does that money go to?
What we're going to do this year is we also got a donation from Skyline to help with scoreboards, because these scoreboards, the basketball scoreboards, are very outdated. So what we're going to do with this money is we're going to replace all the scoreboards for basketball in the middle school and the high school gym, because not only does basketball use them, volleyball uses them, youth league, community events. Also replace the softball and baseball scoreboards, which are extremely outdated and the lights aren't working very well. Replace volleyball net systems, upgrade the tennis courts. We were going to use them for non-revenue sports where they don't have any money coming in. And it saves us, because these are things we're going to have to do anyway. So not only does it help our students, but it helps the community, because they use our tennis courts and our gyms.
That's
as well.
great, and saves us money.
Yes, so excited about that. The first semester does end next Friday, and it is a half day before the Christmas break. Students will return on January the 4th. Do want to let the board and parents know, the principals and I have met on January the 4th. When the students come back, our doors will open at 7:30 a.m. So we will go back to the regular, normal start time when school starts back in January. So I know a lot of parents will be happy about that, and that will help with traffic as well, especially, I know at Roan Creek, they still have a hard time at Roan Creek. I do want to say thank you to all who participated in the Christmas parade. We had a float, Doe Elementary had a float, and FFA had a float. Our float come in first. FFA's come in second for nonprofit, but And Doe's was beautiful, so I appreciate everybody that worked hard on the Christmas parade, and it was a wonderful night for the Christmas parade. I want to say a special thank you to everyone who remembered me on Director's Appreciation Day. I got such nice gifts from every school, and it's very nice to be thought of. And just on behalf of myself and my boys, Dylan and Connor, just want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And you do have poinsettias in front of you. Please take those. Those are from the staff here at Central Office.
Were those grown in the greenhouse?
They were grown in the greenhouse.
You did a good job. Those
Yeah.
are nice and full.
That's all I have.
If you could you add to your report? We've gotten a number of communications from some of the teachers who have seen a story they had on WJHL or WCYB, one of the two, regarding teacher pay in the surrounding areas. And if you could just briefly explain teachers' pay, because one of the things I think that the staff are concerned with is, we're at the bottom of the teachers' pay. And that, we have one of the higher student pay per student. And could you just briefly explain that so that, I can refer, and I guess, I don't know if the other board members probably have gotten the same thing, that we can refer folks back to this tape and explain, in words. It's easier in words than it is texting somebody back.
Yeah. I do wish, of course, we all wish we could pay our teachers and our staff more. They definitely deserve to the limit, but, unfortunately, we don't have the tax base coming in as Johnson City Schools does. We don't have that tax base or that revenue coming in. But when you're looking at BEP, and I know right now there's a lot of talk around the state on the state funding formula and how they're going to try to change it to more of a student-based funding formula. But right now we are funded primarily through BEP for our teacher salary. Locally, we're only 19% funded local. The rest of it is state and federal. So we don't really receive a lot of dollars locally to help support salaries. But with BEP, for the positions funded, and this is certified and non-certified, they only fund us for 195 positions. So we get money based on 195 positions. We actually have 387 positions. So really, in essence, we're picking up double what BEP is giving us for salaries. This is not just a Johnson County issue. This is across the state. Every system will tell you BEP does not fund for the positions that you have. So that's what's wrong with the funding formula that we have in place now that
And
they
they're
are
in the
trying to work on.
process now of relooking at that, right?
They are in the process now of relooking at that, but that won't go into effect until 23-24. So it's not going to help anything next year, no matter what they decide. But when you're looking at a small system and you're looking at the fact ADM, how much we get per pupil amount is a little bit higher than what your Johnson City Schools is, who has more students, but they also don't have smaller schools. We have smaller schools that don't have a lot of students in them, and then we have some schools that, like Mountain City, which is overcrowded. Johnson City's student enrollment is pretty much consistent at every school, so that's why we, in essence, per pupil, we might get a little bit more, but it's spread out among so many different schools.
And is the revenue, I don't know if you saw the program, but my question would be also, given all this money that the federal government has pumped in grants and COVID money,
Right.
would part of that be figured into some of those?
It would on the report card. Now, on BEP, no, because it's just based on what we get from BEP, but when you look at it overall, yes.
Okay.
And we do have a lot of grants. That's how small systems sort of survive, is off federal grants.
And that is even before the COVID money.
Oh, yes.
So, with Johnson County, there are advantages and disadvantages of living here. And one of the disadvantages is the revenue stream that we are able to generate, and it's difficult for the county. And I think one of the things also, and some people understand and some people don't, is that maintenance of effort requires that if we vote a pay raise in for the teachers, we can't take that away. We can't say next year, our revenue's not coming, so we're going to lower your salaries. We have to, the county has to pay that. So that's one of the reasons that our board's been very cautious in doing that, and that we have paid out bonuses at the end of every year, is to make up for that pay, because on a bonus, we can give a bonus at the end of the year, once we look at what revenue we have and would save. And, you know, we've been very careful over the years I've been on the board, because otherwise, if we, let's say tonight we decided to vote a 4% pay increase. The problem is that 4% pay increase is going to be able to be funded next year. And if the revenue doesn't come in, we got to pay, the county has to pay it. And, you know, we could easily bankrupt the county. The other side to that is that what we do with that extra revenue is we put it into our, my mind's gone blank. Yeah, we have the GASB trust that we've been putting money in, which protects retirement for our teachers. There are a lot of systems, and especially state governments in different areas, where because of revenue streams, they're in danger of that retirement, but this protects the retirement for our teachers. So there's a lot of different facets to that, and it's not that we don't want to do something for our staff. We've tried to be creative to where we can do things for our staff, and we'll continue to do that. But I think that's important for people. They watch that TV program, and then it comes out, you know, we're the lowest. Well, yeah, I mean, that's going to be obvious for many reasons. We don't have Walmarts and malls and things like that. Lots of the others get a lot of revenue from their liquor stores, and they got a lot of them. Bigger areas. And again, that's just one of the disadvantages of living here. Do we like it? No. But unfortunately, it's something we live with, and we just have to be creative. So, anybody want to add? I mean, I know y'all have been on.
Are we going
Yeah.
to be able to give a bonus at the end of this year?
No, our budget's already been set. I mean, you all did the increase.
I thought we discussed something back earlier this year about when the teachers got a pay raise, that we might have extra revenue at the end of this year for a bonus.
We gave the pay raise this year, didn't we?
We gave the pay raise this year. Yeah.
A bigger pay raise.
A bigger pay raise
Based on, we were going to
because
split
we had to
it.
get up to state
We talked
board.
about splitting it, but
We
we
did
gave
talk
the
about,
larger.
but we ended up
Oh,
just doing the
gave
pay
larger
raise.
then.
Yeah, we gave a larger, as I remember, we gave a larger, we had options.
Yeah.
And one of the options was a lower pay raise and a bonus, and we gave the higher pay raise. And one of the things that I know we'll be able to do next year is to look at these revenue streams, because ours tend to be consistently getting larger. So, I mean, that's something, again, for next year's potential pay raise and/or bonuses. So,
But those kind of discussions have to happen in the budget meeting and voted on in June by you all.
because we don't really control our budget.
No.
I mean, we make recommendations, but
What? I was thinking about, I don't know if it just popped in my head, the cafeteria comes from federal money, right?
Correct.
Now, we don't collect any funds, any money for student lunches at all, do we?
No, we're a CEP. The only, and I don't think Kathy's not here, the only money that comes in through them is if they buy additional ice cream. Or we have the second chance breakfast, which means they get breakfast free. But let's say somebody eats breakfast at 8 o'clock. Well, then at the 9:30 second chance breakfast they want to eat, then they pay for that because they only get one breakfast. So they do have a little bit flowing in, but not like they did before we were a CEP.
How many other systems is like ours? They don't collect any money for lunches? I think, are we the only one?
There's very few.
Possibly be now, they weren't initially when this went into effect, but there's very few that's completely 100% CEP.
What does a meal cost?
Well, see, right now it's free.
I know, but what does the average meal cost a student?
I don't know because we've not served. Yeah, employees are $3.
Maybe $1.50.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, back when they did pay, it was $1.25, $1.50, but that's been several years ago. So I'm sure it would, cost of inflation would be a little bit more now. But
well, one of the things, like based on what Gary's asking, is that if you look at the sales tax collections, which is a lot of where we're looking at getting a portion of our revenue also, that's continually been raised every year. Now, we don't get all that raised, but still, it does provide a sense of security that if we did something, it might make a difference, but we still have to, even if we make a raise, that still has to go to county commission. And essentially, they're looking at us for a balanced budget.
Yes.
So it wouldn't just be, talking to us, it would also be talking to your county commissioner. Okay, well, I think it was a good discussion. I mean, I appreciated the staff bringing it up,
Yes.
but I just didn't feel like a text would be good enough to go back to. I'm going to suggest they watch the end of our school board meeting, and I just wanted it to be explained by Dr. Simcox. All right, did you have any other?
Nope, that's all.
Okay, all right. Mr. Matheson?
Yes, I got a copy the other day from the, I guess it's the comptroller's office about the audit we just passed. Could you explain to us what these discrepancies are?
Yes, we had the exit audit interview in August, late August, early September. And with our findings, as far as POs being pulled, requisitions, stuff like that, we are combined with the county. You know, so they found findings in that prospect, but it was, you know, I can't tell you which was ours and which was the county's. They don't tell us that information. As far as findings that were directly to Johnson County schools, one of them had to do with assets, and that was from Shady Valley being sold, and where it was rolled over in July instead of June. And then the other one had to do with Connections Academy and not knowing the amount of money that would come in.
Well, it says that we had expenditures that exceeded the appropriations. Now, I thought we discussed that.
That was the Connections Academy. The way Connections Academy works, and that was brand new for us last year, you know, that's the virtual school. We have two. We have Johnson County Online, which lets our homeschool students, you know, use us, and then we have the one that's the state, where we get 2% of that back. Okay, we do not get our BEP final allocation until June, usually the last week of June. Our budget is done the first week of June. So we have no way of knowing what our BEP allocation is going to be until the end of June. When we do our budget, that's the 1st of June, like I said. So we just sort of had to estimate what we thought we would be spending or giving Connections Academy, and we don't know that information until the end of June. And again, it was our first year with it. We have sort of a plan for this year, just based on what it was this year and how much we could budget and put in there. But we will not know that till the end of June. We actually talked to the state about this, Mary Ann Dursky, who is over the state funding. They can't change that. So anyone who has this type of academy or virtual academy, they have the same finding as we have.
Is it a critical finding or a minor finding?
It was, I don't know if they made it critical or minor. It was, and they understand that. I mean, the auditors understand.
We spoke to Mary Ann Dursky at the state, we spoke to the auditors, and the auditor was very helpful, giving suggestions on how we can clear that up next year. But Ms. Dursky said there's really nothing they can do because they don't set that till the end of June. If we found it earlier, then we could go through you all, we could do an amendment, and because whatever we receive from them, we have to turn around and pay back out to Connections Academy. So the money was here, and it was at the trustee's office, but we couldn't amend it in because it was at the end of June, and we had already passed county commission and board meeting. So there was nothing we could do when the money came in, yet we had to pay the money back out. So even though it was paid out in July, it was an accrual, and it went back to the year 2021.
Have you replied back to the auditors?
We have to do that in September. I mean, we had to do that late August, early September.
Okay.
We had our meeting then.
What was your reply to them?
Just what we told you. I mean, it's a written statement that
What
we
they
have to
say.
give them. Well, when we sat in here in the exit interview and explained all that to them, I mean, they understand, but it still has to be
Yeah,
a
I've heard
finding.
that before from them.
Yeah. But I mean, they sent back and approved everything.
We had suggestions, like in that line item that we knew we were gonna pay out of, we could put $1 million. Yet, if it comes back that we have to pay out 1.1 million, we still have that line item in the red. And there's nothing we can do about it because it's too late at that point to do amendments at this level or the county commission level.
And there's no way to tell how many students at the end of the day Connections Academy will have. We don't know that.
So there's nothing in that finding that there was money missing or
No,
a
no, no.
concern. He
No.
was able to trace where the money was
Oh.
actually paid out.
Absolutely, there was nothing.
It's
like
just the fact of the deadline.
It's the timing.
Yes, yes.
Which
No,
we
there
can't
was
control.
nothing like that in the audit. It was, yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Are
no
we
questions
keeping,
of that.
keeping these POs and stuff that's been matched up with your invoices and everything? And
Yes.
not expanding the
Yes.
dollar amount from like 500 to 1,000?
No, that was something that you all had mentioned last year about no longer doing the open POs because they went from, I'm thinking an example was maybe the PO was 1,000, but it ended up being a couple thousand or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they've really worked hard to change that. And there's probably a few things in there, but we don't have examples or anything of what it is.
He didn't give you examples?
No. Mr. Robinson, I think, said that Mr. Matheson spoke to him and he could maybe get some examples, but I don't think he had any examples either, did he?
They don't give us any.
So, no, we had like a summary of what it was and, they just kind of pointed out.
They don't
Thanks.
give you a list of the findings on that?
No, we have the summary like you all have. So, like, they didn't say the Lowe's purchase order was $200 over or anything. We don't have anything like that. We just have those things that you all had that was just a generic.
Is this a combination with the county and the school system where it comes through with the POs, or?
Well, the POs actually fell, like there was a combination of, it fell under both the county and the board. And I think maybe the reason that works is because Mr. Robinson is with the county and ours flow through the county. But the one was listed under both of us, and then the other two was listed just us.
Just us.
Now, are your bills, when you send them up to Mr. Robinson to pay?
Yes,
They have the school board heading on the bills
mm-hmm,
and the POs?
yes,
And then what he gets in from the county has from the county?
yes,
Okay.
yeah. But they didn't put any kind of examples like of what it was or whatever. They just have like a deficiency or something.
Would be helpful if they'd give you the,
That's right.
It would.
It
then you'd
would.
know who to go back to.
Yeah.
Is there a reason they don't give us that?
The past few years, they've been lumping them together,
I think it was actually when we changed auditors that they started lumping it together. We had one auditor and he separated everything out, and then the current auditor kind of combined them. And I guess that's when I noticed that they're
Is there a way to ask them next year to let us know so that we could go back and,
We can ask.
I mean, we can
if-
ask.
We can ask.
If everybody's doing the right thing and there's one person not, then we just need to go back to one person and say, hey, look, we need you to get with the
Right.
program.
Right.
We can definitely ask, because that process will start soon.
Yeah, we have an entrance audit, and that's just where they see if you have any questions or anything. I mean, I know everybody tries. Everybody's trying their absolute best. Nobody wants finding. There wasn't any suggestion of criminal findings or anything like that. It was just,
Right, okay. Anything else, Ms. Massey?
That's all I have.
Mr. Payne?
No, I don't have anything.
Ms. Reese?
Yes, I would like to commend our Director of Schools, Dr. Simcox, and of course Kevin's not here, but Kevin, and Miss Angie Wills, Dr. Long, and Harvey Adams for the presentation they made on our CTE programs at TSBA. There was a lot of interest. There was a lot of participation in the class, a lot of questions, and there's been some very good comments on that presentation that they made. And I'm sure that they've had a lot of questions and from other districts, because some of them said that they would like to implement some of the things that's going on here at our school. And so I think that's a very good thing. I'd also like to congratulate the school system for getting first place in the float and for their entry in the lamp post on Main Street, and it was great also. And I'd also like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you. I want to congratulate them also because at TSBA, that was a large group. I didn't get to go, but I saw the pictures. A large group of attendees, and a lot of times when you go, many of those programs don't have that large a crowd, and I saw the comments afterwards, and they were extremely positive and talked about how creative y'all had been and that they would be reaching back out, so
Thanks to
very
Mr.
proud of
Haynes.
that. If you would just kind of briefly tell us about your little donation tree and your mugs and your, was it gloves or socks?
Oh, that would be Edna. I'll let, through FRC, Family Resource Center, that Edna supervises, had a wonderful event here the other day. So if it's okay, I'll let her. It's on Facebook, so please look on Facebook and see the pictures. They're great. And it's on the fact sheet for tomorrow too, Joanne. You can see it tomorrow.
Okay. We just had a wonderful opportunity to purchase 3-pound and 2-pound bags of cereal for $1. And while I'm on here, I would like to thank my husband because he purchases that stuff and he brings it over here from Boone and then takes his truck back to Boone. So he puts a lot of money in it. So I'm thankful for that. Keisha, Rudy, we're trying to get something else going. I'm not going to say what it is because I'm afraid it might fall through and I don't even want to. But anyway, so in that process, she came across a lady who had a pajama program, and she had a whole basement full of brand new pajamas. Some of them still had the price tag on them for $50. So we had all kinds of pajamas to give away. So then in the meantime, we started cleaning stuff out here, and we had some soup mugs that we had given away one year for Christmas presents, and we had some leftovers, so we had those. We had some, I think, 3 tables of free books out here. So we had drawings for 3 gift bags, which were full of laundry, detergent, cleaning items, different things like that. We opened the doors at 2:45. It was supposed to be from 3 until 5, and we were out of stuff by at least 3:45. But we had some very thankful parents and grandparents come in, and the kids are just so excited over the cereal. So we had one little girl, she wanted Fruit Loops so bad. We were out of Fruit Loops, but we had Frosted Flakes, and she said, I'm going through these boxes. And she found her some Frosted, some Fruit Loops at the very bottom. So we do hope to do that again. The lady said she's hoping to get us more pajamas. And we're hoping the other that we're going to hear from, we're going to get lots of money from that so we can do this more often. But we had a lot of very thankful families.
Well, and we appreciate y'all making that effort too, and everybody who was involved. And if there's anybody out there who has something they think they can give away or money they can donate, contact Edna Miller.
Yes.
Well, I do want to say this. I know everybody wants to go home, but I do want to commend the middle school. I think we also, Lord put that on Facebook for us as well. But they had a Christmas tree this year, decorated it with gloves, hats, and scarves. And if the children needed one, they just went by the tree, and I think it was a 10-foot tree because it was a 9-foot ceiling. And I talked to Teresa Stansberry, and they've had to replenish that a couple of times. So our county has been blessed, the school system has been blessed.
That's really great. Well, thank you for sharing that. All right. Dr. Simcox, do you
Chairman,
have any? Yeah,
I'd like to address Mr. Adams back there.
yeah.
Herbie, what's the status on that road down there at Doe School? Okay.
But it is on their agenda.
It is, if they don't have anything bad, any big floods or anything that's on their agenda.
Okay. Good deal. Yeah, we want to make sure and keep that on the radar. Do you have
And we
anything
do,
else?
we do meet with the architect tomorrow to start with Mountain City. So Gay probably won't sleep tonight.
And the
Sorry
nice
about
thing
that.
is, we're getting all that construction done, you know, with the grant money that we got, so
Yes,
that's a good thing.
it's a great thing.
All right. Anybody have anything else? If not, we wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Have a good break. Happy New Year's. And we'll see you next year. We're adjourned. Oh, wait a minute. I gotta get a motion. I was gonna make the motion.
Go ahead.
I don't want to take it away from you.
Go ahead.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Thank you.
He's excited.